Hi everyone, in today's lesson we're going to talk more about Venn diagrams. So here's an example. In Clark Middle School there are 60 students in the 7th grade. If 25 of these students take art only and 18 take music only and 9 do not take either art or music, how many students take both art and music? So the only difference between yesterday and today is that today we have to make our own Venn diagram and pull the information from it. So anytime we're drawing a Venn diagram, we need a rectangle. And then we need our two circles. We've got a circle here and a circle here. So we're talking about two things, students that take art and students that take music. Let's see if we can pull the information out. 25 of these students take art only. So art only would be the stuff right here in this area of the Venn diagram, right? Art only would be nothing inside the intersection. So that would be 25. Then it says 18 students take music only. So that shaded area would be here. This is the area of students that take music only. So we can label that with 18. And then it says 9 do not take either art nor music. So that would actually go in the bottom right. That's the neither. So the question is, how many students take both art and music? So we need the intersection. So the only way that we can figure this out is if we read from the beginning that they tell us there are 60 students in the 7th grade. That must mean this area plus this area plus this area plus this area must equal 60. So if we add them up, we have 25, 18, and 9. And that gives us 52. But they said there were 60 students. So that must mean if I do 60 minus 52, which gives me 8, that must mean 8 students take both. And then it says, what is the probability that a randomly selected student takes both art and music? So a part over a whole. We have the 8 over the whole, which we found or knew was 60. That's it. All right, let's see example number 2. Maybe they give us different information. So we know we're going to need a Venn diagram, so we can go ahead and draw a rectangle. And we need two circles. And let's label what we have so far. We have a school of 320 students, 85 students are in the band, 200 students are on the sports teams, and 60 students participate in both activities. So we've got band, I'll use red for band, and we have sports teams, I'll use blue for sports, and blue for sports. So it tells us that 85 students are in the band. We can't just put 85 here because what that means is this entire circle of band must equal 85. All right, maybe I'll use the same color. Let's use red. So we can't put a piece here or here because we don't know which part is which. Then it says 200 students are on the sports teams. So that means this entire circle must add up to 200. Again, we don't know which piece is which. Now let's keep reading. And it does 60 students participate in both. So we know the both is the intersection. And I actually think we can fill that in, right? The intersection, we know, is supposed to be 60. So what we can do now is kind of work backwards. If this entire circle has to add up to 85 and 60 is already there, you want to ask yourself 60 plus what gives me 85? And if you don't know, you can just subtract them. Take 85 and subtract 60, you'll get 25. So 25 are people that are in band only. And then you could always add it up to make sure it works. Does 25 plus 60 equal 85? Yes. And now let's look over here. If 200 people are supposed to be in this entire circle and 60 is already taken up, all we have to do is subtract 200 minus 60. That's going to give me 140. So 140 people are in sports only. So let's continue to fill out this Venn diagram. We're still missing this piece out here, which is the neither. So we've got 25 students, 60 students, and 140 students, but there's 320 students total. So what we can do is add up all of the numbers in here, and plus this must equal 320. So let's add what we have. We've got 25 plus 60 plus 140. And that actually gives us 225. But we know there's a total of 320. So all we really have to do is take 320 and subtract 225. And when you do that, you'll get 95. So that means 95 students do not participate in band or sports. That would be the or. So let's see if we can answer the question. How many students are not involved in either band or sports? Well, it looks like we just answered that. That would be 95. Then it says, what is the exact probability that a randomly selected student is not involved in either sports or band? So 95 out of my grand total, which is 320. We need a part and a whole. So 95 out of 320. All right, let's take a look at the last problem. Example number 3. At Newfield High School, 35% of the students are enrolled in Algebra 2, 25% are enrolled in Pre-Calc, and 52 are not enrolled in either Algebra 2 or Pre-Calc. So again, with all of these problems, we need to draw a rectangle and our two circles. So we've got Algebra 2 and we've got Pre-Calc. Now this time, if you notice, they're giving to you the probabilities or percentages rather than numbers. So we can work the same way. We can just put percentages in here instead of numbers. So it says 35% of the students are enrolled in Algebra 2. So let's start this way. Let's highlight our Algebra 2 circle. All of this added up must be 35%. Okay. And then it says 25% of the students are enrolled in Pre-Calc. So if I use my other circle now, Pre-Calc, this entire circle must add up to 25%. And then it also tells us that 52% of the students are not enrolled in either class. So we can put this in as a decimal, 0.52, or we can just put it in as a percent. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. So let's just go with percent. So problem being is that this is 35% in this circle, this is 25% in this whole circle, and this is 52% out here. So I'm not given any of the informations like I did in the last problem so that I could subtract and find out, these pieces. So we have to think a little bit bigger. All percentages are out of 100. So everything inside this rectangle, this entire rectangle, must add up to 100%, right? So this whole rectangle must add up to 100%. Let's see what it adds up to. So we have 35% plus 25% plus 52%. And that gives us 112%, which is bigger than 100 that we were looking for. So that extra 12% means that that's your overlap. So that's a tricky way that we can find that missing piece. So then all we need to do to find this area, if this entire circle has to add up to 35 and 12% is already there, all you have to do is take 35% and minus it from 12%, or 12% from 35 rather. And that gives me 23%, which means Algebra 2 only students would be 23. Same thing goes for Pre-Calc. This entire circle needs to add up to 25%. I have 12, so 25% minus 12% will give us 13%, and those are the percentage of students that are enrolled in Pre-Calc only. So now that we've got this entire Venn diagram set up, we can answer the questions. What percent of the students take both Algebra 2 and Pre-Calc? That's my intersection, 12%. And last but not least, oh no, there's a couple, sorry. What percentage of students take Algebra 2 or Pre-Calc? So remember, we can use a formula for or we can just know that or visually is everything inside both of these circles. So what we're going to do is we're going to add up our percentages. So we've got 23, 12, and 13. So 23, 12, and 13. And that gives us 48%. And let's look at the last question. What percentage of students take Algebra 2 but not Pre-Calc? So here's my Algebra 2 circle. 23% take Algebra 2 only, 12% take both, right? So we definitely don't want this. This is, I'll put A2 only, right? And then this one would be pre-calc. I'll put PC for pre-calc, pre-calc only. So we want to know what area? That would be 23%. All right, that's it for today. If you guys have any questions, now's a good time to jot them down, and we'll see you in class tomorrow. Have a good night.